Hi, gang. This is Heather Biederman for Liberty Librarian. I'm back, y'all. It has been a crazy, crazy week. I've had so much going on. I'm zoomed out. Roy the cat's here to say hello. It's crazy time. When you have a week full of Zoom, the cats get really bored. Cats get really bored with like you constantly talking to computers, so they assert their dominance by standing in front of the computer screen to show that they think it doesn't matter at all. So he loves you, but he's a naughty boy. So yes, it's been the first week back for faculty. Next week's classes start at the college I work at, and it's crazy, Bill. I've had couple good solid days of really nonstop back-to-back Zoom meetings, which if you are like me, a lot of things are virtual. He's back again. What the hell? And it's just been kind of nuts. So I love that school's coming back. If you can see me through the cat ass. Yes, Rory says hi. Hi, Nikki. Jinx, Nikki. I have to say it the right way. I always want to say it the backwards way. Hello, yay, cheers. Honestly, it's so much back to, I'm trying to protect you all from Rory's ass. Hello, Kara. Hello, Heather and Kat and Rory's cat ass. He's like, what? What, Kara? What? You know what I mean. You have like Mabel to contend with your show, and oh my god, right in my face all the time. What can you do? I'm gonna do a show like this. It'll be like Heather grew a beard, a cat beard for her show. Oh my lord. So anyway, yes, it's been nonstop meetings. This is gonna be a challenging show, I can already tell you. It's just so much weirdness. You look all pixelated in this. I don't know what's going on with my thing. So I'm having a drink with y'all. I'm having my Moscow Mule. It's from Monaco Craft and Cocktail. It's quite delicious. And I feel like Moscow Mule is a lovely summery drink. Ginger is refreshing, heals your tummy for all that aches you, and is delicious. Rory's like, ooh, that looks good. Can I have some? No, you can't. You're only like almost 12 years old. You are not old enough to drink. So yes, cat, no. You don't get none. None for you. None for you. So yes, it's all bubbly and refreshing like a ginger ale. Oh, think of it like a boozy ginger ale. So anyway, I'm having that with you today because I've gotten through the worst part of my week. I had board meetings today, which it's a funny name for a meeting, but yeah, I got through that. I'm setting up scheduling for next week, which is boring to you guys, but dude, there's a lot of stuff to get ready for, like everybody coming back. Even if everything is half virtual, it's just crazy pants. So what a week. But what I wanted to talk to y'all about today was that going back to school, I'm sure a lot of you have kids that are going into classes, and I have a lot of parents that have talked to me on Facebook that have talked about their homeschooling, sometimes for the first time this year, and they're trying to get ideas for ways to learn. And I've been seeing a lot of really neat new stuff. I work in college, so in colleges we tend to look at more like higher level resources. But for me, one of the things I've been looking at in the past couple of years is what are called open educational resources. And when you get to a point where people don't have money for higher ed, people don't have jobs, they want to learn, they want to better their situation, there are resources out there, and I have a ton of open educational resources. I'll share a link to my publicly accessible library guide that has links to free textbooks, to free labs. So if you're in doing science labs or like medical biology, anything like that. There are free labs that you can access online for free. And there's way more now than there have ever been because of the situation where people are having to be at home, having to work at home on education. So you're not alone. I have a hard time. There's a lot of faculty that they're so overworked and pulled in different directions that they don't listen to the messages that go out. I try and I hammer to go, they're free resources. Students aren't made of money. Textbooks are expensive. Try some free resources. See if they work. I mean, there are reasons to use some of the paid resources. Some of the books are just that good and you can't get rid of them. But sometimes the reason that they use it is because faculty have built-in lesson plans and built-in like videos and supports that go directly with the material. A lot of the online educational resources have that too. So I just think that people need to be aware that there's a lot of free stuff out there. And I was thinking about how this ties into our homeschool situation. Well, you may have higher level students, like high school students that are like would be taking college level classes, and you want to have things that pace to their level. So this might be an option for you. So I will share a link to that. It's always changing, so I will post it. There's a few really, really good ones that I recommend for faculty that want to have textbooks, but what it can work for in a more libertarian way is I know a lot of people are opposed to the higher education system in general. Now, you can make your own program. It won't have, you can give yourself a certificate. It won't amount to a hill of beans to other people, but your knowledge will. And being a knowledgeable person is a highly important part of being a human in society. You need to have skills that you can bring to the table. So a lot of people feel like they may have missed it, or the school that they went to, they didn't get a quality education. They had a bad teacher. Maybe they were immature when they were in high school and they weren't ready to absorb the information, too many hormones. You weren't listening. Now that you're an adult, you're motivated, but you don't have money. There are ways to do it. I mean, there are so many options out there. One of the things, God, what was that called? It's not, it was a university. Okay, I wanted to look that up real quick because there was something I was looking at the other day. Free college education online. Let me Google that. I saw this the other day and I was actually kind of interested in it. You can get a free degree now. The University of the People. Now, someone had sent me, because they had a director position for libraries open, and I actually looked at it and I am so overwhelmed with the feelings of COVID that I couldn't even think about moving or considering it at this point. But what it is, it's like volunteers, which I think is really cool. It's tuition free. Here, I'm going to show you the link. Too many tabs open, Heather. What are you thinking? Let's see. Chrome tab. There it is. Let's look, shall we? So this is the University of the People. So you can get a tuition. I'm not going to get updates. No, thank you. But it's University of People. It's actually degree programs. They have master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, associate's degrees, computers, health science, and education. Really amazing. The thing that's neat is that there's a bug. They're having different programs in different languages. This is for people all around the world, people who may not be able to afford to have a quality education. And it's lots of money going into this to make sure that it keeps moving forward. There's alumni working at major corporations all around the world. They're having this week, there's only 2 days left to register. And so you could become a student there. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's all online. And what I understand is, since I actually looked at this job that someone sent me, was that it's a lot of volunteer people, and the people who work there, it's tuition free, and there are fees. Let me see. Okay, so the tuition free part means you can go to classes and they don't charge for taking courses. It's tuition free. They wanted it to be affordable for everybody. So I thought it seems too good to be true, because I thought the same thing too, right? And there are assessment fees. This is the part where it's not like totally free, right? There are fees, but compared to going to a college or university, it's far less. So it looks like you can get, instead of, hundreds of thousands of dollars at some of the Ivy League, or, tens of thousands of dollars, you can get a degree in 2 years, associates for $2,460, a bachelor's degree for $4,860, and an MBA for $2,940, and a master's of education in 17 months for $3,180. It's 100% online. So I'm not trying to just sell this to you, because I work for like the state system. I work at a college, a community college, and our fees are very low. Most of our students get aid and are able to go, but a lot of them still can't afford to get books and materials, and they'll go without. They'll try to like pick up everything they need from class. That's why I'm trying to find cheaper resources for people, like open educational resources, or having options like this. This is one of the many options of classes that you can take. Or you could do something like Khan Academy and get free classes and just learn a skill. You don't have to do it the way everybody's been saying. Okay, I'm gonna get out of this. Let's go back to me. So you see, I'm excited about it. The reason I work at a community college is because I believe in being there for the students, being accessible, working directly with people who need help, want help. And from my own experience at a 4-year and graduate level, there are a lot of times where I felt like I never saw people who were able to help me. You had to hunt them down. You had to do everything you can to try to succeed. And I don't believe that's the way it should be. I think that if you are going to have a brick and mortar building, you need to be there for people. That's the main purpose. It isn't just so people can, like see a pretty building and that kind of thing. I mean, it always feels like that's what it's about when you go to the big universities. It's so beautiful and almost overwhelming. But really the two things, the main thing is that you should get a good education, no matter where you go. And I have come to believe that you can get a good education anywhere. It's all what you as a student put into it. And that said, there is something wonderful in having really great experts in your field handy to help you understand and ask questions and help you network. Networking is the biggest thing that you get out of any education. Now, Ivy Leagues, do they have a better education? It's questionable. You could say yes in some ways and no in others. If you went there and you just partied your butt off the whole time and you didn't like crack a book, you didn't really get much from it for the education side. But if you went there and you networked with people while you're partying, and you met future presidents, future corporate leaders, rulers of the world, and they help you get jobs, they help you make things happen, then yes, you did get your money's worth. It feels like, though, if you're actually looking for an education, you could get it anywhere. You could do it without going to college. Networking is something that you should make your priority in life if you're a young person. And a lot of people, when you look at like the Mad Men era, it was all about like golfing and going to the right after work drinks with the bigwigs. It still is. It's just different. I mean, now it's what gym do you go to? What are you like social in the right social circles to meet people? Are you networking with people in your field? And sometimes when you're just starting out, it's overwhelming. I know that was one of the things that I always worried about when I was a young baby librarian. The Liberty Librarian was a baby librarian once, and I remember going to my first library conference. I knew one person there, and she was older than me, and she had her own circle. She introduced me to a couple people, but she wasn't savvy about introducing people. And as I get older, I see when I find younger people in the field, I try to introduce them to other people that I think they may have a common interest, or I know, like, oh, you're looking at going into this community. This is a person you should know. I wish I had somebody like me when I first started out, which I eventually did. One of my mentors who just retired this last year, she was amazing at it. And I was introduced to so many people. And it makes you feel like once you have someone like that in your life, you need to pay it forward. So I know you don't all work in libraries, but what I'd like you to do is, if you have been in the field that you're working in and you see somebody who's new, maybe a person who just graduated from college and they're coming into your business, introduce them around. Do you go to professional development? Offer or tell them about it. Say, hey, you might be interested in this. This is a great way to meet people. Sometimes you need to meet vendors. Sometimes you need to meet customers. Sometimes you need to meet people who just have a lot of money who can connect you to other people. And the value of that, even in education, even in any field, is so important and valuable. So if you're just starting out, look for your mentor. Look for somebody who is doing what you'd like to do. If you are getting towards the main part of your career or towards the end of your career, start looking for people who may need little bits of your wisdom. There's nothing that's a greater ego stroke than having a younger person to listen to you and maybe even follow some of your advice. Especially if you're successful, why not pass that on? It's not something you have to hoard like you're a dragon holding onto gold. It's you can share what you've learned and maybe make somebody else a little bit better for it. And I'm going to promise you this, having younger friends revitalizes you as well. Sometimes it's kind of neat just to have different ages so you can go, wow, I'm so excited for you. This is new. And they may go, I'm learning about this. And this is the newest thing in the field. And you're like, oh my God, I don't know anything about that. So it kind of kicks you in the ass too, to learn more about what they're bringing to the table. Win-win for everybody, right? So take a little sip. Oh man, ginger, love it. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today, I want to soapbox today, because I just feel like there's so many different ways to learn, and I get really excited about it for students. And I think of myself as a lifelong learner, which sounds cliche, but it's true. I get so excited about learning new things, and every week I try to tweak stuff and think of new ways of bringing technology to what I do and what I think. So I don't know. I hope that kind of rubbed off. It's this whole year, I feel like I live in my brain a lot more than I live in the real world, because, there's not much you can do outside with a pandemic and all that crap. So my fantasy life is quite robust. And by fantasy, I mean, I have this whole thing where I've been looking at financial independence, retire early, and my dream thing right now, because there's these people in this book, Eamon and Christina Browning. They have this channel called Our Rich Journey on YouTube. You should check it out. It's amazing. And they had worked on early retirement, and they are living in Portugal right now. And after watching their show for the past month and a half, I'm obsessed with it. I think it looks amazing. Portugal looks lovely. It's like, I want to do that too. So, I've been jumping through the hoops, working on a plan so I can retire. And it might not be like an early retirement like theirs. They're like retired at 40, so I can't do that. It's that ship has sailed, man. But retiring someday, that would be awesome. Maybe even a little early, 55, 60. That'd be okay, right? So in my fantasy life, when they open borders up and you can do more international travel, one of the things I want to do is go to Portugal and go and look at the land there, see what it's like. See, because sometimes you have this fantasy. I mean, for a long time for me, it was Belize. And I still want to go to Belize just to see. Because, there's something to be said about just going somewhere beautiful and lovely and escaping. It may not happen, but it's kind of nice to have that thing that you're working towards, So Portugal, to me, I was looking at my idea for Belize, and the thing that worried me is I live in Minnesota, right? It's cold here most of the time, and everybody complains about it. I like it 3/4 of the year. It's just that hard part of winter, it gets too much. So I would be really happy with being a snowbird. If I'm going to go somewhere warm, it's probably going to be during the coldest part of the year when the locals are like, it's so cold. And I'm like, oh my God, it's hot. Like we go to Florida for spring break almost every year to go visit hubby's in-laws. And dude, it's hot, but that's cold there. So I think like I couldn't live there year round because I would melt. And I wonder with Belize, which is kind of tropical and has jungles and giant bugs, I'm sure, and things that might eat my cats, is it a wise choice for me to go there right now? Probably not. But Portugal, that was something that kind of tipped off in my brain. So I was looking at it as it's cooler year-round, especially northern. I was looking at a city called Porto. Lisbon is like mid-Portugal, and that's a little warmer yet, but nice. And then there's, the very southern part. God, what is that called? It starts with an A. Can't remember it. It's like beautiful beaches, warm and sunny. So to me, it was like I could live probably in the northern to mid part of Portugal and go visit the southern part for if I want my tropical warmth for a vacation. And I would be pretty happy. So what I decided to do is I am the slowest brain learner for other languages. I took 2 years of French in high school, and I don't remember anything except like fromage and qu'est-ce que la bibliothèque, I suck at it. But, there's some things that stick in your head, and I think it would be really cool to go on a trip, and we might not ever move to Portugal, but I'd like to go there and just see it. Just like I want to go to Norway, and I want to go back to England and, travel. I want to do it. I want to go to Ireland and go see my one friend that watches almost every week for the Librarian. And, I have a friend from England that is a librarian that I've always wanted to meet. So I want to just travel the world. That's my goal. But I found that I really want to learn how to speak languages. So one of the tools that you may already know about, but it's kind of fun. I'll get on my phone. There's an app called Duolingo. And so let's see if I go. Right now let's see if I can show it. I'm learning Portuguese, and I just started the other day, and it's really kind of fun. It's almost like a little kid level, cutesy stuff. My biggest complaint is it's always like a masculine voice, so it's kind of like, but you get points, and they kind of encourage you. They stalk you a little bit with messages. I get emails that say, "Hey, don't forget to check in. You want to keep it going." So it goes forever. And what's kind of like, let's see if I can show it. Like it goes and goes and goes and goes. Like like you're not gonna run out of lessons. Like I was looking and it went up to 11, and it looks like there's more after that. So I think it just stops there, so you don't get overwhelmed thinking I'm so far behind. Um, you learn phrases, you learn grammar eventually. Um, but I looked around, and I wanted to mention for those of you who are looking at homeschooling, it's a great resource. I'm going to just share that too. So this is what it kind of looks like. There's a website version. You don't have to have a phone. Most people, if they're going to have something, they may not have a PC, but if you have a phone, there's free apps for it. Duolingo is a great way of learning. They try to push this paid version, the plus. You don't need to. Part of it is they penalize you for not checking in every day, and you don't get to have all these gems, which I don't quite understand the point of the gems, and it's not my motivation. But what you'll need if you're going to use your PC is to be able to have a microphone so you can say some of the words, especially later on. But it's kind of cool because there's so many different languages that you can learn. Let's see. So if I just go to like stories, you can learn like watch stories and learn more about stuff. You get experience for listening to the stories. You can discuss it with your groups. You can shop with your gems. There's language forums. This person has a 6-year streak. Rub it in our faces. Yeah. And they have different words and dictionaries that are built in. I just think that's pretty cool. So you can add new courses. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. You have so many languages you can choose from. There's Spanish, French, German, Japanese. One of the people I was thinking about was my friend Kara. She's always loves Greece, so she could learn Greek, And there's Norwegian, which is one I want to learn eventually too. Hilarious. There's Librarian, so you can learn Game of Thrones languages. And it's just amazing. There's Klingon and and all sorts of real languages too. So give it a try. It's very user friendly, and you can go at your own pace. They recommend like 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, and you will be on your way to learning a new language. What I also wanted to show was there's a tab for like if you're a teacher or you're doing online learning for homeschool. There is, let's see, where did it go? Too many tabs. Here we go. Duolingo for school. So I made a classroom. So if you have a child or you're a teacher, you can make your own little online classrooms, and you can track the work for the group. So it's very handy. You can help a group get together, or let's say you have a group that's going on a trip to Greece, and everybody's going to try to learn a little bit of Greece before they go. It's a great motivator to have a bunch of people in a class together, even one as loosely tied as this, to kind of light a fire under your butt to at least learn some basics, right? Just enough so when you get there, you can have a little more fun and talk to locals. And in a lot of places, you can lean on the fact that as an American, they speak English most places, but not everywhere. And isn't it way cooler if you at least try to speak the language of the country you're at and not be such an entitled American, right? So I think that's pretty cool. So I would recommend that. I'm going to shut that one. Another one that I think would be useful to anybody was recommended to me today was Babbel, but that one I think has switched a lot more paywall kind of stuff, but they have some free lessons on it. Let's see if it opens. And I put the Portuguese one. Hey, Heather Biederman, how you doing? So I just started looking at that. I'm going to try it out and see what I think. It looks a lot more course-based, more like what you would get in a language class, which I think is cool. But so there are some apps that you can use on your phone. You can try, you can use it on your computer. It's all cool. Another one that I wanted to mention was really awesome, was called openculture.com. And I'm going to show you that link too. I think that one's really neat. What I like about the open culture was that it kind of shows some of the weakness in like Duolingo and Babbel and the apps. Those are more gamified kind of learning tools, right? Where I think to really learn foreign languages, what you're going to need to do is to have options where you practice it, right? Let's see. I want to see what this looks like. There we go. So I'm on camera. So you practice it a little bit too. So the best way to learn any language is to immerse yourself in the culture. I had no time before I went to Italy, and I learned hardly any Italian language. But when I was there, weirdly enough, when you're forced to, you pick up so many words and the way people say things. And then you start saying it that way, which I think is amazing. And yet when you go away, you start to lose it because the older you get, your brain is like mushy. I don't know. Things come and go. But what I like about resources where you can practice daily. And these can be things like not just on the internet, but you can go if you know there's people who speak Portuguese or Spanish or whatever you're trying to learn. Say, hey, I'm learning this language. I'm brand new at it. I hear you speaking it. Would you mind if I like talk to you a little bit in it? And most people are like, oh, sure, that's cool, because you're meeting them halfway. And that is really fun. And I think most people are just excited that you are trying to learn a new language because, as an adult, it's quite hard to like put yourself out there and try that. I just think people who can just pick up languages are just amazing. So I work hard to try. Okay, let's see. Where am I? Okay, open culture. What's cool about this is it links you to open educational resources for language learning. And what these can be, it can be courses, MOOCs, MOOC. I think that's how you say it. Those are ones that are basically canned courses that live out there, but usually the people in the class kind of teach each other. There's someone that created the bones of it, and they may come on and give you instruction from time to time, but a lot of it is on you. This is really cool. They have links to free movies. So one of the things that was recommended to me was watching TV shows and movies in the language that you want to learn. And what's really cool is most shows now, especially digital, have closed captioning. So you can, there's two ways to do it. You could do closed captioning in English and have it a Portuguese show for myself, and then you're reading the English and hearing it and like, oh, that's what the word sounds like. Or if you want to get more advanced level, if you want to learn the words that they're saying, like some people learn really well by ear, but they don't know the written word as well. You can have the closed captioning in the language that you're listening to, so it matches up. And you can learn the words that way too. There's so many ways you can use it. So that's really cool. They have audiobooks. Podcasts are a great way. There's so many foreign language podcasts that help you learn. And also they just having one where they discuss issues or do readings and that kind of thing. It can really help you learn a language. And so this site also has free textbooks and language lessons and business courses. So I just thought this is quite great. Open culture. And I think got to double check my OER because I don't remember if this one was on there or not because I've seen it a couple times. So like to my friend Kara, ancient Greek, you can learn ancient Greek here. But they also had stuff for Greek classes, and you can see courses in other areas too. But this section is languages. So for myself, and you can learn English, scroll down, French and German, and there's Greek for you. And let's see, Irish, and Italian would have been helpful when I went to Italy. Japanese, Korean, and I'm looking for my Portuguese. There we go. So they have all these iTunes classes. Brazilian Portuguese, which I just found out the other day is actually quite different than Portuguese. And they have the Duolingo Portuguese site. listed. And this is one I looked at a few times, was the Foreign Service Institute language courses. I actually have that up. I'll show you in just a second. But a lot of these are podcasts and ways to listen. So you can listen to it in your car. Let's say you drive a Lyft or an Uber, or you drive like far to commute to work. You could listen to a podcast on language and learn something while you're getting around. So I thought that was pretty cool. Let me switch to the Foreign Service Institute. Just to show you what that looks like. It's real. I mean, a lot of these free ones, there's kind of bare bones looking, but they work pretty good. Here it is. This is the Portuguese version. So FSI languages. They have all these languages, and what they have here is their actual student text, so you can get their complete textbook on how to learn the language. And it has the instructor's manual, which talks about best ways of teaching someone the language. So if you're doing foreign language component for your kids for homeschooling, you could do this. Or if you want to learn the language yourself, this takes you step by step through the entire how to learn the language, which is a lot of dignitaries learn this very way. So, I mean, there is great help in this. And they'll have the text and audio for the units. I just thought, like, how cool is that? It's all free. And so if you're interested in different languages, they have different stuff. So German has a basic course, an introduction course. So some of the biggies look a little bit different. So Head Start, what's that? So you have different kind of classes for every kind of way of learning. So FSI looks bare bones, but it has a lot of good information there. Okay. And I think, and there's one more. Let's see. Nope, I got that. Another one I looked at was called Busuu, Bussuu. And that one I have not tested out, but it looks quite good. Very similar to Duolingo, but more like higher level adult kind of content, not like sexual, get your minds out of the gutter. But you have to sign up to learn. They have an app for it. They have things for educators. You can learn to speak a language in 10 minutes a day. So might be interesting is like dueling apps, like try out some different ones, see which one you like the best, what works best for you, and just keep at it. This Busuu one has been more touted by universities. So a little bit older audience. So if the cutesiness of Duolingo turns you off, maybe Busuu is for you. So I just thought those were something that I think is of great interest to me lately. And I thought maybe that'd be cool to you. The last thing I wanted to mention was that if you have a computer in Netflix, one of the things that's really kind of neat is there's something called, now I gotta look at it. What's the app called? No, Netflix for language learning. And it's a Chrome extension that goes into your Chrome browser. And what you do is you watch Netflix through your computer. And a lot of times what I would do is probably with headphones, because like there's no way anyone else in my house would probably want to do this at the same time as me. But it's kind of neat. The app, I didn't have it on this computer, but it has, here, if I show this, let's see if I can show a clip of this. That would be awesome. I'm just like thinking, what's kind of cool about it is you can find material in your own language. An easy way to do that, even if you don't have the app, is to go up into your, let's see if I can just get a screenshot. Yes. I'll show this on YouTube. This one. Okay. If you see on my screen, it says netflix.com/browse audio. And this is a great way. So you could look through movies and TV shows on Netflix and find things in the language that you want to learn. So this is very helpful. So you want to do that practicing thing. and you watch a show, you can like switch it to like the captioning in English, or you can do captioning in that language if you're advanced, so you can learn the words. It's kind of cool. Another way you could do it is to watch English shows and put that language, if they have the audio available in that language that you want to learn, you can go through and read what they're saying. So if you're trying to learn how to read in that very quickly, that's a great way of kind of, how like you used to do like typing tests? I don't know, maybe that's because I'm an old person, but you do speed tests for typing, and it's kind of like that for your eyes. The more you see the words and you hear it at the same time, then you'll start it'll just click. It'll click right in place. You don't have to think and go, wait, that means this. That means this. You'll just like, okay, I got it. And same with the other way around. When you hear it and then you start to see it and you go, okay, then your brain starts to equate those two words together really quickly. But the only way to really do well at that is to practice with it. And so by watching shows, listening to podcasts, like doing this and getting your brain stronger at it, you can really make it work. So this, the way of doing this, you wouldn't need to have the app. But if you had the Netflix for language learning, I'm going to Google that real quick. The Chrome extension. Here, I'm going to show you what that looks like. I don't think it's there. Nope. I got to switch to that tab. We want to do it. Okay. This is the web store. So you go on your Chrome web store, wherever, and you find that language learning with Netflix Chrome tab, and you add that on. And what it does is it kind of helps you, walk you through. It has the language at the bottom, so it'll show you as it goes. What's kind of cool about this is it has some built-in dictionaries. So if you're not sure what a word means, you can look it up. They have subtitles in the two languages, so you can have on top of each other, whereas you won't get that on Netflix. And it has a pop-up dictionary, which I think is pretty cool. There's a pro mode too, but I haven't gone that far into it that I would even consider buying it. Don't buy in-app products. I just don't recommend it. But if you love it, it's not that expensive, but I wouldn't pay as you go no matter what. So this might be an option for you. And there's a couple other apps that are and extensions I've seen that are very similar to it. So if you don't like one, go to another. Let me turn that off. Okay. So how many of you are learning new languages, wanting to learn something new like that for school? There are lots of options out there. I could talk forever about it, obviously, right? Let's see. Did I get everything I wanted to? So they had said there's other places that you can learn besides Duolingo and Open Culture. Learn a language is another tool. Mango Languages, if you have, check out your public library and your academic libraries, they may have subscriptions, but not a lot of them don't, because it's an expensive tool to add. But a lot of major universities have something like that. Transparent Language has gotten more expensive, so you'll see less libraries having it now, but it's out there and it's okay. I didn't like it as much as Mango, but I thought it was pretty good. And then one I've never tried is Surface Languages, conversational cues. There's audio, flashcards, and some games even. So that might be a fun one to try too. So if you're looking for language stuff, those are some of my recommended resources. Give them a try. I'll try to post a link to show how to get to some of these so you can look it up yourself. And let's see. We're running low on time. So intellectual freedom news. I just have a little bit of time for that. Not a lot going on this week. I think things are kind of ramping up for the presidential elections. The Democrat National Convention is going on right now, and I've not been watching too closely, but you can't avoid it. You have a lot of guest speakers like former President Obama and Michelle Obama. I think it was Bill Clinton and Hillary were there, and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. So it's everybody is kind of focused on that right now, I think. So there's a lot less going on, but it doesn't mean that things are safe and sound in our universe, right? One of the things I wanted to mention is Linux was always something that my programmer friends said was much more secure and safe than Microsoft environments or Apple like environments are. But NSA has put out, let me open this up again. I closed it accidentally before. So, from Russia with Love, from Ars Technica, I'm going to show you what the article looks like real briefly. Here we go. This is what it looks like. So they had warned that the Linux malware threatens national security because, as you may not know, a lot of our supercomputers and our greatest government secrets and documents are on computers that are mostly run by Linux, because we've been told for so long that it is safe and secure and something that we can count on. But let me tell you, got a bug in here. Like, listen. So there's a report that Russian state hackers are using a previously unknown piece of Linux malware to stealthily infiltrate sensitive networks, steal confidential information, and execute malicious commands. So this is like crazy pants, things that we should be worried about. But like, I hadn't heard about this until this week. There is something called Drovorub, which sounds like, I don't know, what is that stuff that you rub on your chest? The Vapor Rub? It sounds like that to me. It's not, but it's malware. So it's a full-featured toolkit that has gone undetected until recently. So they've been using this, and who knows what they've learned and what they've used it for. But it's been used by hacking group for GRU, Russia's military intelligence agency, and it has been tied to more than a decade of brazen and advanced campaigns. So they're doing some serious damage to national security with some of these hacks that they've been doing. So they've been working with the Cybersecurity Advisory to work with National Security Systems, NSS, to counter these capabilities and stop the threat. And I think what's interesting to me is that I hadn't heard really anything about this. I kind of think of myself that I'm looking for this sort of stuff, but before today, I didn't really know much about this Drovorub tool set that has 4 main components: a client that infects Linux devices, a kernel module that uses rootkit tactics to gain persistence and hide its presence from operating systems and security defenses, a server that runs on attacker-operated infrastructure to control infected machines and receive stolen data, and an agent that uses compromised servers or attacker-controlled machines to act as an intermediary between infected machines and servers. So ultimately, what it sounds like it's doing to me is it's making its own kind of sub-internet in between infected computers, so it can remain undetected, and it will infect more computers, and then they will be able to get in everywhere. So they said that this kit, all of this, it's a Swiss Army knife of security hacks, and it's huge. So it's a security driver slayer. It says Drovorub translates to wood or firewood, while rub translates to fell or chop, so it chops the wood. Woodcutter, split wood. So it's breaking into everything. So, okay, what else did they say about it? It's intruding, and they're working hard to try to put a stop to it because it's going to use spam and phishing attacks to infect computers. So don't open things from people you don't know, and when it looks weird, don't open it. Just don't open it. Make sure I have VPNs on. Make sure you definitely have antiviruses. But a lot of this is going to be undetected, especially with the Linux side. But it's everywhere. So, you should be concerned about malware when downloading software. free stuff, I know it's free, and sometimes it attaches itself. So there is a document that if you're interested more in learning about this and protecting yourself, there is required reading 45-page document that provides a level of technical detail and informed analysis that's on par with some of the best research from private companies. Now, this is from, I'm trying to figure out where you get it. Not seeing it. I have to figure out where to get it. I don't see a link to it. Sometimes they hide it in the text and then they make it look the same. I don't know. So you want to make sure that if you are working in cybersecurity, that you should read the report by the agency. And they were talking about the intrusion in the Democratic National Committee in 2016. So, and if you don't think they're doing it this year, they're doing it this year too. So, here's the report. It's at the very top, the link. It's mediadefense.gov, and it was from their August 2020 on the 13th. There is a report that talks the detail about the Drover Rub malware. So if you're interested in learning more about it and what the government's doing about it, it's all in there. It's a little higher level than I want to read, but you never know. It might be something that you worry about. Okay, so we only got a few more minutes. So as you know, I look at the Intellectual Freedom blog from the American Library Association, and every week they come up with some really great nuggets of intellectual freedom news. So if you need more than what I give you, go there. They talk about the TikTok war, pits free speech against national security, and the Hollywood Reporter. A great article there. There's more about free speech and the laws that are being challenged constantly. Next week is Banned Books Week, and so you can count on me next week to talk a little bit more about banned books. But there's so much going on with back to school. You know that things have been kind of simmering intellectual freedom wise for a while, but now that everybody's coming back, it's all going to pick up again, baby. So the last thing I wanted to just mention was that it's not much time, Heather. You don't have time. There's kind of a neat portrait by called An Invitation to Danger, Perspectives on Intellectual Freedom and the Information War by Sarah Hartman Caverly. And she writes for the Intellectual Freedom blog. And there is a Librarian of Congress from the 1940s named Archibald MacLeish, who has the best name ever. And I love that. But he says that some of the things that he says could be said today. So I just wanted to say this quote. In a world in which we live, it is no longer agreed by all governments and citizens that truth is the final measure of men's acts, and the lie is shameful. In the world in which we live, it is no longer agreed that the common culture is a common treasure. To many men and many governments, the life of the human mind is a danger to be feared more than any other danger. And the world which cannot be purchased, cannot be falsified, and cannot be killed is the enemy most hunted for and hated. So, it's not something new that we're going through right now, that we take for granted that we get the truth in our news, that we can say what we need to say, that we have the right to free speech, is constantly being picked away at. And this is 1940 when he said that. And so the library community, myself included, works hard to not turn a blind eye to the spread of fascism, and to trust America's declared policy of neutrality, providing an adequate defense to the spread of fascism at home. So do not turn a blind eye to evil spreading in your country, whatever you think evil can be. It festers in an environment like we have right now. And I thought it was quite interesting that there's some directorships in the Library of Congress, and some of the people that they've chosen to run it, there's questions in my mind about their motivations, but I do think that seeing nuggets of this where libraries try to protect the truth, to protect your right to get access to all information, is one of the most important things. And libraries right now are struggling. So if you can help support your local libraries, be it your public libraries, your school libraries, your academic libraries, um, even if with just words, show your support now. Budgets are being cut and things are really dire. I feel like right now, I'm going through a budget cut right now too. And it's so important to have good quality information available for patrons of libraries and for you and for your children and for your families and friends. And to get that taken away makes it so it becomes questionable about the quality and the value of libraries to people. So if you love libraries, please say something right now. We need to have people like you to protect what is good about our country and what needs to keep staying around. So on that note, this is one of the things that he was said. It is still wise for librarians to admit no positive duty to learning in a time when governments abroad teach ignorance instead of knowledge to their people, and fanatical and frightened citizens at home would, if they could, obliterate all art and learning, but the art and learning they consider safe. And this is of the librarian's profession in Atlantic Monthly, June 1940. So people getting rid of ideas, making anything that opposes their viewpoint not being able to be read. These are things that we see happening again and again. Now is the time to protect information and protect ideas. So check out that article. It has some amazing historical context, and if you're a history nerd, you'll probably love it as much as I do. So it's called An Invitation to Danger: Perspectives on Intellectual Freedom and Information War by Sarah Hartman Caverly. Came out August 13th, and it's on the Intellectual Freedom blog, Office for Intellectual Freedom for the American Library Association. So please check it out. I think it is quite good. So on that note, it's already like an hour has passed. How does that happen every week? I do not know. I hope you have a great week. And if your kids are going back to school, or if you're a teacher and you are getting ready to go back to school, or if you just are like influenced or have like that is something a part of your life where you like, hey, all these people are going away, yay, because they're going back to school. I get it. But I hope your week goes well. Next week, I'm going to be a little crazy, but I am always looking forward to it. This is one of my favorite times of the week, is just getting to talk to you all. So hope you have a great rest of the week. Yeah, it's like we're getting there, man. I was thinking it's been 6 months. That's right about there from March since I last really physically worked in the library. And I'm going back to working about 1 or 2 days a week physically, and it's going to be weird. I will admit I'm a little nervous to see how it all goes down, but I really miss the students. I miss the faculty. I miss being in the physical building. As much as I like working from home, it is quite a joy to get to see everyone again when they come back from summer. So I hope I'm all energized by that next week. So love you guys. Have a great week and a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next Thursday. Take care. Bye. Mwah. Ending broadcast.